Edward Theodore Gein, also known as the Butcher of Plainfield and the Plainfield Ghoul, was an American murderer, possible serial killer. But Ed Gein had a very strange upbringing. Was this disturbed man born psychopathic or made a psychopath? We are going to dive into the mind of one of America's most disturbing serial killers, Edward Theodore Gein. The notorious exploits of real-life Wisconsin serial killer Ed Gein have inspired several horror films over the years, three of the most well-known being Psycho, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the Academy Award-winning The Silence of the Lambs. These three masterpieces took bits and pieces of Ed Gein's horrific methods and personality in order to help build their own iconic cinematic villains. I believe that Gein was deeply traumatized as a child. We know that schizophrenia develops earlier on. It's possible that he had moments, because of his trauma from his mother, he could have experienced schizophrenia. Gein was the youngest of two children born to Augusta.
Would you like to talk to Mother?
He endured a difficult childhood. His father was an alcoholic, and his domineering mother was verbally abusive.
Mother!
She also frequently warned him about the immorality of women and discouraged friendships with others. Gein nevertheless idolized her. He really had no way of developing normal social skills. Because of the family he was raised in, there was nothing there that was conducive to becoming a human being, to being socialized as a human being. They don't have empathy. They lack empathy. Empathy really distinguishes us as being human, that we can identify the suffering of other people. The death of Gein's mother in 1945 left him a virtual hermit. In subsequent years, Gein cordoned off the areas of the house that his mother had used most frequently, preserving them as something of a shrine. He supported himself by working as a handyman and occasionally babysitting. I think neighbors saw him as an odd, very meek, somewhat simple-minded person, but one who was always willing to pitch in when some farm work needed to be done or some chore needed to be run for them. But they, of course, had no sense of the life that he was pursuing inside that incredibly creepy, dismal world of his own form. You would have trash and rubbish build up, and it really became a complete hovel.
Yes, Mother. Mother doesn't want to make a mess.
You have shaken Mother!
He shot his victims first, which tells me he wasn't sadistic at all. He wanted them to die quickly so he could have access to the bodies. Otherwise, he could have tortured them, but he didn't do that because that was not of interest to him. Personally, I believe Ed Gein was a sociopath. I think Ed Gein's foundation to become a killer was well laid out in the beginning.
I better check on Mother.
I think even in death that Ed Gein feared his mother. Even in the grave, he felt controlled by her. That having her be in the grave was not enough. He had to have her with him. This whole dark, dark world, you can imagine walking into his house and seeing how he was living. His house was a house of horrors. Gein attracted the attention of the police in 1957 when a hardware store owner named Bernice Warden went missing. Gein had been seen with her shortly before her disappearance, and when law enforcement officials visited his farm, they found her body hanging by her feet in a shed. She had been fatally shot, eviscerated and decapitated. Her head was found in a box. Gein admitted to killing the two women, both of whom allegedly resembled his mother, but pled not guilty by reason of insanity. In late 1957, he was deemed unfit for trial. He'd been diagnosed as schizophrenic and was subsequently confined in various psychiatric institutions. He was found guilty of killing Warden, but then was deemed insane at the time of the crime.
Yes.
Did you kill Bernice Warden?
I can't say as I did.
He returned to a mental hospital where he remained until his death from respiratory failure related to lung cancer in 1984.
Hello?
Hello? murdering people, there'd be none of you left.